across very clearly. One is, and this is something that he has been expressing off and on, much before he actually ever thought of running for the president of the United States of America. One, America is overstretched. Two, the American allies have taken advantage of America. And three, the global economy doesn't serve America well. And these are the three themes that you come across in the last 30 years. In the 1990 interview, I have a quote from that interview. He was asked, hypothetically, of course, at that point, what would be a President Trump's foreign policy be? And his answer was, he would believe very strongly in extreme military strength. He won't trust anyone. He won't trust the Russians. He won't trust his allies. He would have a huge military arsenal, perfect it, understand it. Part of the problem is that we are defending some of the wealthiest countries in the world for nothing. We are being laughed at around the world defending Japan. So you can clearly see, I mean, if you go back to what he was doing or what he tried to do in the previous term and what he has been saying now, you would realize that what he was saying in 1990 sails very close to what he has been trying to do. Now, it's an important thing to know that beliefs shape the choices, and Trump has certain beliefs. Recently, there's been, mirth or mockery, if you will, of what they try to end. If you go back and, there's documents that have been declassified, clearly show that they wanted it for military purposes. Now, you also remember that during Second World War, Denmark was actually occupied by Nazi forces, and the Americans had gone and sat in Greenland. And from that period onwards, they have had a military presence in Greenland, which obviously is a listening post, and it's very important. And previously, you know that they bought Alaska from the Russians back in the late 19th century. So if you look at the map, you have this area, which is Canada and North America, you've got Alaska here, and you've got Greenland here. So from a military purpose, it's an important, sort of acquisition. And then in 2020, for instance, at the World Economic Forum, he told Ursula von der Leyen, by the way, and this is again a quote, NATO is dead and we will leave. We will quit. He does this to put pressure. And this is one of the issues that we will talk about in the session. Starts with a bullying way of dealing with something. When he talked about 2% expenditure or more by the European NATO allies, everyone thought he was just bluffing. From that point onwards, now this is part of the conversation, and actually the European defense expenditures have risen, and they're likely to rise. He did the same thing with KORUS, which is the Korea-US trade deal. He said, we'll either quit or we'll negotiate. And he ended up using tariffs as a weapon. He weaponizes tariffs. He renegotiated the deal. He did the same thing with NAFTA. So the point that I'm trying to make is that he is not impulsive. He is not mad, although he uses the madman theory. And there is a lot of method in his madness. Let's go to our panel now.